going back, looking at Jaxon Smith-Njigba, like how good he was that 2021 season on the field with Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. And he was the best receiver on the field.
Do I go back to the quarterback or do I pick the best player I see on the board at wide receiver? And that's what I ended up doing. Jaxon Smith-Njigba, pretty easy pick for me here. Again, speaking of safe and stuff like that, but I love the landing spot as well in the mock draft. He went 21st overall to the Chargers. Obviously Keenan Allen and Mike Williams both getting a little bit long in the tooth, right. and I think Smith-Njigba would be the perfect place to learn from Keenan Allen and just kind of slide right into that role, and kind of a couple years from now it's in Smith-Njigba and Mike Williams, and then as Mike Williams ages out, it's a perfect timing for Smith-Njigba to kind of come into his own and be like the number one guy there.
Yeah, I was in the film room watching some Jaxon Smith-Njigba tape from 21 as well. When I was looking at some 21 tape, I was looking at some Will Levis 21 tape, seeing his numbers were better that year.
Right.
And going back, looking at Jaxon Smith-Njigba, like how good he was that 2021 season on the field with Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. And he was the best receiver on the field. And if Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson come in and do what they did, Garrett Wilson just won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Olave was easily in that conversation as well. Knowing how good Jaxon Smith-Njigba was with those two on the field, and the fact that when they asked Olave and Garrett Wilson, hey, who's the best receiver in your team between you two? And they both said, neither of us, it's Jaxon Smith-Njigba. He does seem like a super safe prospect to the point of like his floor is like a wide receiver too. Like that's his floor. And when I'm looking at safe players, like Garrett said, I want to come with a safe player. My three safest players in this draft are Jahmyr Gibbs, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, and Bijan Robinson. Mm-hmm. Outside of that right now, and like you said before, Michael Mayer, he seems pretty safe as well. So I'll throw him in that class as well, even though tight ends dip a little bit. Like there's four players I could say right now that I would give my stamp of approval, like, oh, these guys are almost bulletproof. Like I feel like getting them is a home run threat. And in a Superflex league, some of these guys are going to get bumped down. And can you get up to get them is going to be the case. Like, right. What's nice is if you need a running back so bad and a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs falls to 5, that's an obtainable pick.
Yep.
And what do you do to get there? That's the question. And what do you have to give up? Because for a guy like him, it might be worth it. The same thing can be said with Jaxon Smith-Njigba.